Then we have the query view. Yeah, so this is, let me go back here to the database. And for this, we are going to use another database called FIBO. So some people in the audience might know what FIBO is. It's an attempt by the banks in the United States and OMG to create an ontology of all the concepts that are used in banks to make it a lot easier to get oversight over what's going on in banks, to make it easier to do rollovers, to do queries and data analytics to figure out to what extent certain banks are at risk. But it only will work if everyone is using the same concepts. And so, well, there's a group of banks that work this, but the demo or the file I'm showing you here is created by David Newman of Wells Fargo. He uses this tool to actually display data for these ontologies that they're building. And so let me open that file. It's FIBO. So here is the, I've opened the database. And again, let me display some triples. Yeah, so here you see some triples. You see derivative contracts, and that are subclass of swap contracts, and this is a subclass of something else again. You see parties that certain banks. You see how banks are related to each other and how they have parties in certain contracts. So it's a huge ontology and a demo with instances too. So this is the data set. And then for queries, well, normally this is the query view. Yeah? So I can write queries in any way I want. I can say select star where, say, X is X, well, subject, say, predicate, object. And let me show you the first 100. I do the query. I see here the results like I would see in a relational database, subject, predicate, object. And I can save this as a comma-separated file or as a text report. But usually what you will be doing is create a visual graph out of your data. Okay? So here you would see some, let me turn out the names, some random triples on your screen displayed. But we also can store these queries. So David Newman has a whole series of queries that he usually likes to show. So let me show some of those. Let me see, Dropbox, and then Wells Fargo. So here is a list of queries that he created. So here he created a query that looks at all the subclasses of swap contracts. So here is a, here you look at all the classes of swap contracts. So yes, and this is of course not a lesson to teach you any Sparkle. There's lots of good books out there and courses and tutorials. Yeah, this shows you just the mechanics. And so here's a query to find all the subcontracts of interest rate swap contracts. I do the query, I get my results. Now notice that if you do this, so you would do this like a relational database, it's almost impossible to see the links between all these things. Yeah? It's just table view and too much data out there. If I create a visual graph for this, yeah, and let me make the canvas a little bit smaller. Again, and reorder, yeah. Then here we see all the different types of exotic contracts, which are currency, IR, swap contracts. So you see a whole array of kinds of interest rate swap contracts. Yeah, so this is one type of query. I can take another query, for example, ownerships between companies, and you see how you look at companies that own other companies that are again owned by other companies. So the query, again, here's the results, and if you just look at the table, you hardly see any relationships. If I look at the visual graph, I see lots of relationships between banks. Now everything is of type body corporate, so let me remove that line. So this looks already better. Yes, so now you see ownership's relationship between various banks. This guy is kind of lonesome here. Now I do know they have a connection with Wall Street Bank, so let me just look at one. I know that there's a trading relationship with these banks, so I could actually say is trading with, and I actually probably could find a link here. Yeah, so now at least he's part of the company to all kinds of trading relationships, and then we could look at all the other guys. Oh yeah, here's another thing. Sometimes you want to find out if, given the predicates that you selected, there are still nodes on the screen that have more children. If I hit the letter F3, or if I hit F3, then you see whether or not something has unseen current links. Well, you have to be yellow to be unseen, so let me go back a step. So here you see, if I now exploded this guy here, then suddenly everything has a relationship and all the links now are satisfied according to the set of predicates that I chose. If I do more, let me just do a few, just clicking predicates. Now, of course, everything has more predicates again. And now if I go here, you see how slowly everything is getting saturated, given the predicates that I chose. Sometimes very handy to have. If I hit F2, I get my normal colors back for the types of nodes that I have. Okay, so, but again, I mostly talked about the query view, and I can do both Sparkle queries and I can do Prolog queries.